Hi everybody, my name is Joe Goldblatt and I'm going to show you how you can make delicious bread right in your own home. You know, many people have a bread maker and it sits in their cupboard. But did you know that it is very simple to make delicious, healthy bread right in your own home? Everyone loves bread, so it's a great thing to be able to do. You know, President Woodrow Wilson said many years ago, I quote, "In the Lord's Prayer, the first petition is for daily bread. No one can worship God or love his neighbor on an empty stomach." How true. So we want to avoid having an empty stomach, and we want to have some fun filling our home with the delicious smell and enjoying the beautiful taste of homemade bread. What I would like to share with you is a recipe I found in the Gold Medal New Bread Machine Recipes book. Here on page 59 is the recipe for apple gingerbread. This 2-pound loaf is delicious and easy to make. Let me walk you through the steps. The first thing that you want to do is you want to get a microwave container and fill it with 1 cup 2 ounces of water. You want to heat the water up for 45 seconds. Next, you want to add 2 tablespoons of molasses to your water. That's going to give your bread a delicious taste. And then on top of the molasses, you want to add a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Dump that right in there. Try not to be messy like me. And you're going to stir it. Now the reason why you heated the water up is you want the water to be warm enough to activate the sugar and warm up the sugar so it activates the yeast. Heating the water for 45 seconds in your microwave is perfect. Any longer, the water will be too hot and it could kill the yeast. So next we're just going to dump this right into our bread maker bread pan. Alright, already smells good. So now, we're going to take our flour. 4 cups of flour I have in this pan, and we'll just dump this flour right on top of the wet ingredients. Alright, so next we want to add the spices that makes our bread really taste really like it should, like a gingerbread. So, a teaspoon of ginger, dump it right in there, bam, like Emerald says. A 1/2 teaspoon of allspice, make everything happy, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. Alright, so now there's only 4 ingredients left to make this delicious bread. 1½ teaspoons of salt, because everything seems to take some salt. Now is an important part. So we have our wet ingredients on the bottom, we have our dry ingredients on the top. We want to put in yeast so that our bread rises, but you need to make a little divot in the top of your flour, but not too deep, and you add your yeast to it. Why am I doing that? Well, the divot is so that the yeast mixes thoroughly in the container. Not too deep, because you don't want it to mix with the water and the liquid ingredients just yet. Okay, only 2 ingredients left. 2 tablespoons of butter. Now you'll notice I've cut these into 4 pieces. Why? I'm going to take each of the 4 pieces and put it in a corner of my bread pan. And that is so that the butter mixes evenly there with the bread. Next, I have 1/2 of a medium-sized apple. I've got that cut up coarsely, and if you notice, I still have the skin on the apple. The skin is on the apple still, so it will help retain the chewiness of the apple in the bread. If you don't leave the skin on, the apple gets really mushy and kind of mixed up in the bread a little bit too much. So I'm going to spread that apple around the edges of my bread pan, nice and even. It smells like apple pie in here. Everything's getting happy in there. Alright, now you're done. So all you do is you take your bread pan, you put it in your bread machine, set your bread machine. Ideally, I think, my opinion is, set your bread machine on a light setting. And what it's going to look like is this. It's going to make a delicious 2-pound loaf. It's going to take 3 hours, and it's going to look like this. So, as you can see, making bread in your bread machine is easy, it's simple, and I'm going to tell you something, it is absolutely delicious.